What is up, everybody? Hoang Zero here, and today we're going to be doing the EX5 set review. This is a set that just came out in Japan. I'm joined here today by Zero, um, and this is going to be the Nationals format for English, and I believe Oceania as well. So this is the set to keep an eye out for. We do have some early results in Japan at the current moment. If you take a look, Anubismon is leading the pack at currently 20 tops. Do you mind? This takes from like Japanese Twitter in general, so like it can be like 2-man events to like 30-man events, whatever it may be. But at the current moment, Anubismon is in the lead, followed by variants of Garurumon, Mirage, Shine, Greymon, Luga, Fanglong, and Leopardmon. Anything below is like just whatever. But I think those decks are the ones to keep an eye out for coming up for Nationals. And then, of course, the format may evolve over time as more developments happen. But this is very early on, and I think it's pretty safe to say purple's pretty good, right?
Yeah, I think this is probably the best support purple has gotten in a single set in a very long time.
Yeah, I would agree. I think purple is probably the best color going into Nationals format, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah.
But as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, we do have all the cards in the set pulled up, so we can read all their effects and whatnot. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, we do have a tier list, so we can sort cards and whatnot. And so we do have, the best, broken. So these are cards that are just absolutely absurd. Like, they're way too good for what they do. Really good. Cards that really excel. They're not broken per se, but they're very, very good. You have good, so good cards, pretty self-explanatory, but they don't like, mediocre. It's not the worst, but they're not really great either. And D for Dog Water is, I hate this card. Like, it's so bad. Like, I would never consider running this shit unless like gun to head, That being said, kicking us off, we do have Sunmon. Sunmon is your turn once per turn. When this Digimon's top card is placed into your source by an effect, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card in your hand with a cost reduced by 1. Alright, so off the bat, Sunmon is one of your main enablers for trying to like turbo through the Gray Snowball deck. Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about the other egg also, because we have to talk about them together, right? Because you really objectively you run one or the other, because you run like one at 4 and the other at like 1 if you really need both.
That's fair.
And generally you do, because the way the deck plays, right? You evolve and Digivolve a lot. And I think of the two, Sunmon is much better than Moonmon.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But like I was getting to, right? With Sunmon, you're effectively having all the costs reduced by 1 makes it so you're able to go through your cycle super quickly and trying to get to those higher cost evos so you can get out your Gray's Nova as soon as possible. Moonmon, on the other hand, is when you play a tamer with the Nightclaw or Lightfang trait, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card in your hand. So effectively, when you play your tamers, which you do have 2 tamers in this set, you're able to evolve for free. But because those tamer are associated with a 3 and 4 cost respectively, whereas Sunmon is a generic reduced by 1. Like Zero said, Sunmon on average is probably going to be more cost efficient. That being said, you do need the tamers. Without the tamers, you really just can't play the game. So, either way, I don't think there's a guaranteed 100% correct answer per se. I just feel like Sunmon is a lot easier to use versus Moonmon. What do you think?
I don't agree with there being not a correct answer.
Oh,
I think Moonmon objectively is just bad.
Okay.
Compare the worst of the two right now, because, and this is a primary reason, you don't have a way to cheat our tamer.
This is true. You do not. We can search tamer. We cannot cheat though.
If you have a way to cheat out a tamer,
technically there is a way. There's technically a way, and it's through the Dianamon option, but it's a 5 cost, so
that's not free.
Yeah, look, man. It's an option. It's an option that also comes with playing a tamer. It's
Yeah, I think this card would be a lot better if one of the evolution actually just play out a tamer.
I agree. I really did think that the 5 would play out a tamer. Or the 5 or the 4. I'm surprised to see that it didn't, but I digress.
Yeah, because the idea of this card, I feel like, is that if you could play it out of Tamer for free, you evolve something, you play out of Tamer for free, and then bam, this evolve into something else again, right? Like you can skip turn,
right?
Or skip you can evolve like with a choke memory and seal, like I don't know, evolve into like Apollo and then do a raid or Blitz or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't do that.
All right.
So
that being said, because I don't want to spend 12 minutes talking about these eggs. Sunmon, where does it go?
I think Summon is actually really good. If the
Okay.
deck ever get more support, and like the deck right now, I think the deck suffered from just being like a one wave deck. It's not
Right.
there's
Yeah, it
not enough
definitely needs
cards.
two waves.
Yeah, I think Sunmon will eventually be like a. I think Sunmon will be a really good card.
Okay. Okay. And then Moonmon, what, like mediocre?
Yeah, it's like me. It could be good if they get a free tamer.
But it doesn't have it right. I mean, so that being said, Sunmon as a card in the current state of things with the current support, would you
It'd
say
be
it's
good.
good? Yeah, it's good instead, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Nyaromon. All turns while this Digimon is suspended, it gets plus 1,000 DP. This is basically BBmon for green, but better by a lot.
I think this was really good.
I think it's a very good egg. It's a very good generic egg that gives you DP on both turns, making it a lot harder to clear out green as well. So yeah, I would definitely say Nyaromon is a very good card.
The reason this card is good is not because of support in this set. The reason this card is good is because of BT15 insect support.
Okay, I don't know about that one. Hold up. I don't think it's just because of BT15 that this is a very good card. I think it's just in general, it's something that Green has been lacking and I've been asking for a very long time. Because
but I think BT15 insect support abused it really well.
I think a lot of green decks do, to be fair. Like I think, for example, Bloom abuses this pretty well because it puts you at 13k on your opponent's turn, which means that you escape like specific thresholds, like with DP minus decks, for example. It can be used by Leopardmon as well to push yourself out of that threshold. Really into decks with DP minus, it's very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we do have Freemon. If this Digimon has Leomon in its name, when attacking, draw one. I mean, for Leomon archetypes, it's
good.
It's good, right? I guess.
Yeah.
I would say it's good. It's not really good because it's so like archetypal specific. It's not a generically good card. But for its deck, it's good, right? I don't have any complaints.
Yeah.
Tokomon. On deletion, if your opponent's turn, draw one.
Mediocre.
Why does Black have such terrible eggs? Like in the grand scheme of things, this is just better Pagumon. But like at the same time,
that's like
if you say we have better eggs okay, hold on. Don't say we have better eggs in Black. We don't have better eggs in Black. This is our best draw egg in Black, which is really depressing actually. It's very depressing. Yeah, it's pretty mediocre.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, Black.
It's a better Pagumon. Like that's all I can really say about it, you know.
Yeah.
And Pokemon wasn't even very good, so.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, Xiaomon. Your turn once per turn. When you play Digimon by an effect, draw one. So this is a good egg on paper. In practice, this is just outclassed by BT6 Sunomon, right? Because majority of the decks in the format that rely on playing a Digimon by effect have a discard condition attached to it as well. And discard is much more versatile than just flat out summoning, right?
Yeah, it's all right. It's mediocre.
Yeah, if we didn't have BT6 Sunomon in the format already, Xiaomon would be a really good egg.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, we do have BT6 Sunomon, right?
Yeah, it's a very generic pick in purple. Like just getting a draw. Like purple doesn't have issue drawing. It's whatever.
Yeah. Next, we do have Coronamon. Start of your main phase. If you have a tamer with Lightfinger, Nightclaw, gain one memory. And then ESS, once per turn by placing the top card of this Digimon with Lightfinger, Nightclaw at the bottom of the source, gain two.
Very good.
It's very good, right? Like this is a good card.
It literally went the best card in the deck.
It's a play starter that always guarantees you have a level 4 to pop off. It lets you cycle. It gets you your cards and sources. Like it's good. It's a very good card. You know, I don't think there's a lot to say about Coronamon. But next we do have Fireamon. On play and when Digivolving, reveal top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Lightfang and 1 card with Nightclaw or Galaxy trait among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom. And ESS, your turn is Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP. I mean, it's the consistency booster for the deck, right?
It's good.
Yeah, it's a good card. I really wish it also came with the clause like play a card for free, like a tamer for free. Then the deck would be like pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, it's slow. It's 2 monocolors, so it's kind of clunky because you really can't use boost or training very well. And I think that's also like a really big issue with the deck, right?
Yeah.
Next, we do have Indramon, and I feel like before we can talk about Indramon, we really do have to talk about Fanglongmon and how Fanglong operates, right? Because otherwise, without context, these cards seem really terrible.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about every single sovereign as a whole, right?
Yeah.
Like every deva, right?
Yeah.
Because the idea, so every deva has that first effect where you unplay draw, and then
Yeah.
you place something in your breathing area. But that's a level 5, basically, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is you play this for 4 costs, but quote unquote you get a free level 5 in your raising
Yes.
ready to go.
So,
Right. So the
well,
only
wait,
difference,
hold on, hold on. So there's one really important keynote. I don't know, maybe I just didn't hear it. You cannot evolve into these.
yeah, you cannot evolve into
So,
these.
so if you play this in a non-Deva deck, which people are doing in Leopardmon, for example, they're playing Leopardmon with a Deva engine. You can't evolve into the Devas, so it's a huge consistency strain on non-Fanglong decks, right?
Yeah.
But it comes in 4 colors, so red, blue, green, and black. All their on plays is draw 1, and then you could play a Deva into your breeding area. That's a different name from the one in
Yeah,
your
they,
board
they
and
all
trash.
have different inherent and they have different unique ability.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about Fanglong?
Yeah,
Take a look
yes.
at
Let's
Fanglong.
talk about Fanglong first before we really dive into this. So Fanglong is the big payout, right? On play, when attacking, by returning up to 4 cards with a Deva or 4 sovereigns from your trash at the bottom of the deck, for each card returned, all of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP for the turn. When attacking, for each of your Digimon with the 4 sovereign trait, trash the top of your opponent's security. All turns, this Digimon isn't affected by the effects of your opponent's Digimon. It evolves from a level 6 with 4 sovereign trait, 4 cost. It is a play cost of 15. So you can either evolve into this off your sovereigns, because you play all 4 sovereigns, or you can use the Sovereign Ultimate Formation, which is for every Deva or 4 sovereign you have in your trash or on your board with different names. Reduce the cost of your Fanglong by 1, or reduce the cost of this option by 1. So you're effectively playing Fanglong for 12. But yeah, so this is the big payout.
Yeah, usually less than 12.
Yeah, right. Because each one reduces it. So you're really just trying to like get as many names as possible, and so that way you can get out the Fanglong ASAP. Because
Okay.
Oh yeah, go on.
How often how much have you tested this deck?
So I have tested not extensively, nowhere near extensively. I've played it into it sparingly, and it is annoying. It is fairly annoying if your deck is not prepared to handle it. I definitely can't. I won't lie that I've definitely added option cards in my deck specifically to hit Fanglong. Like I've started to run Iron Fisted Onslaughts specifically so I don't get like sniped by this card.
Yeah, I think in that context, Fanglong is probably like a good card. So I would.
Fanglong is a good card. Yeah, I'd say Fanglong is a good card. If Fanglong didn't have to rely on the Sovereign Ultimate Formation to get itself out, super easily, I'd say it would be really good. But it does have to rely on the option, and you could you make the argument like, oh, what if you just evolve over your sovereigns? It's kind of hard to get those sovereigns out, right?
Yeah, and the other issue is when they die, they give a lot of memory back. So
they're all overflow, right?
Yeah. The deck advantage is that you can abuse the ace. But before we go do all that, let's talk about the first sovereign, which is Indra.
Right. So Indramon, like we said, on play, draw 1, then play Deva into your breeding area for free. That has a different name from the ones in your battle area or trash. And this is on deletion, draw 1, and ESS, while this Digimon has 4 sovereign or God Beast trait, it gets +1 security attack. So Indra...
I think...
Oh, go on.
Yeah, so I think this is actually one of the better sovereign.
I would agree.
I think this is actually good tier for sovereign. Oh, sorry, not sovereign. Deva.
Deva, yeah.
The good thing about this card is that it draw. It has an additional on deletion draw because this is a card you slam, right?
Yes.
This is the card that's like, hey, deal with me immediately. And even if you do, I get a draw.
Yes.
And if it doesn't, then you have a card that potentially evolve, and then threaten 2 checks, right? So that's the cool thing about it. So I think this is one of the better one.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. And depending on what form of removal your opponent has, like for example, if they have bounce or bot deck, then it sucks. It is what it is. But that's the beauty of the Deva engine, right? Is that you get rid of the one Deva, and they have a Deva immediately in the back ready to go. But with Indramon, like you said, having that additional draw is really, really great. This is one of your more consistent pieces. So I would say
the deck
overall,
have the deck have very low cycle because it's like 4 color, so you can't really run boost.
Yeah. Next we do have Sandiromon on play, draw 1. If it's a Devo, it's just assume it has that first effect.
Yeah, we don't need to repeat the effect.
Yeah.
So this is the same as Indra,
Mm-hmm.
except it has on deletion and minus pop of 5k
Mm-hmm.
instead of draw. I think that's worse. It's probably mediocre.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason to run this over Indra. Like you could.
Oh, I mean, you have to run it for the name,
Right, but I
but
think like this.
it's not a better card. It's not a better card.
Yeah, this is not a high count.
No. Next, we do have Pajiramon. So this is on deletion. If your opponent has a tamer, gain a memory. So, I mean, it's kind of
it's kind of mediocre.
It's aight. It's better than Sandiramon, but like it's aight. Now we do have Flaremon. So Flaremon is when you would play or Digivolve into this card. If you have a Digimon with Light Fang, Nightclaw, or Galaxy trait with 3 or more sources, reduce the cost by 2. On play, when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP or less. Your turn, this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP. So
I think it's broken.
This broken, really?
It's a 1 cost level 5.
Okay,
I think it's busted.
I don't think this one is broken. I think Cressemon is like broken. You know.
I think they're both broken because of how cheap they are. They're essentially 0 cost level 5.
I think this is really good. If it was in a better deck, I would give it broken.
Yeah, I guess depending on. I think in the vacuum, the card is like the effect of the card itself is really broken. But like the issue is that your payoff for the deck isn't as good.
Well, so we're now skipping ahead of Cressemon. This is a generically a better card, right? Like on play, when Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon can't suspend until the end of their turn. Like that's so good. Like this is actually so obnoxiously good, you know. That I think Flaremon is really good, and Cressemon is like the broken one of the two.
Okay, I'll accept that. Fair enough.
Right. Like yeah, it's 1 cost level 5 is insane. Like if we've learned anything from BT7 with the hybrid fusions, 1 cost 5 is crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Next we do have Zuchaomon. Zuchaomon is 4 cost over purple or red. It has the Blast Evolution over Davis for 3 cost. When Digivolving, when attacking, by deleting one Digimon with 6,000 DP or less, or the David trait, this Digimon gets +1 security attack. So this can also delete one of your own Digimon. Do mind that. And on deletion, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP. So it does have the ability to pop stuff. If you blast Evo into this and your opponent has a smaller body on their board, you can pop that. And then the on deletion means that they do remove the Zuchao. You could probably take another body with it. So Zuchaomon overall is pretty good at removing stuff. I do think the contingency of having that overflow attached to it makes it kind of awkward. But overall, Zuchaomon is probably one of the better Devas, I would say, right? I mean, one of the better Sovereigns, rather.
It's okay. Yeah, I put it in like mediocre.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I mean the as the Blast Evolution is super weak. Like the Blast Evo is incredibly weak.
Yeah, the Blast Evo itself is very weak.
This is a card that like beg you to evolve into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the idea is you evolve into like you have your horse out, right? Your Intramon, and you evolve into 3 and you go swing, bam, 3 checks, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea, but like it's 12k.
Yeah,
it doesn't gain extra DP. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's kind of mediocre.
All right, next we do have Apollomon, one of the most hyped up cards of the set, and hype I mean like fan hype, you know, like not like competitive.
Yeah.
Hype. So did you else from Lightfinger, Nightclaw for 4. When Digivolving Blitz, for every 3 cards in the source, the +1 security attack. And when a card is removed from your opponent's security attack, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon. This is pretty good. Like this is actually a good card.
Yeah, I think generically this is a good card.
It's generic Blitz. It generically gains security attack for every 3, so you're at least +1 security attack, so it's a 2 checker. And it also pops a body on the board. And it's in red, so it's not hard to get DP at all. Apollomon is a good card. It's I think this is like generically a really good card. You know,
you can play. I mean, this is a card you can splash into a bunch of really red bill and just to have like extra check on and then pop, right? Like it's just objectively better, like in a lot of the War Great months.
Yeah. This is just in general just a very good card. Next we do have Gabu X. Gabu X on play when Digivolving, reveal top 4 cards of your deck. Add 2 cards with Garu or X antibody and their names among them to your hand. Return the rest of the bottom. If you added a card, trash 1 card in your hand. When this Digimon with Garu or Omni would be deleted, return 2 non-Digi-Egg cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck. Prevent the deletion.
So this card is D for dog.
This card is broken. This card is broken. Like I'm not even gonna like sugarcoat it. This card is kind of like broken.
Yeah, it is broken. I think the mistake is being able to grab any X antibody.
Yeah, it's such an insane consistency booster. Like I didn't think we can get better than like the first Gabu X, and then they just made a better Gabu X that comes with battle protection. Like what? Why? Like what was the train of thought there?
The battle protection for this card is actually insane.
It's so good. Like this card is actually so like. Okay, you could be like, oh, if you don't have Sunomon or Gabumon, it costs 1. But like, why wouldn't you have Suno or Gabumon? Like you have so many good Sunomons. Like blue has 2 good Sunomons. Purple has like 2 good Sunomon. Like it's so good.
Yeah, no, it's probably one of the best card printed in the set.
Yeah, it's actually so insane. Like
It's probably the second. It's probably the second best card printed in the set.
Yeah. Next we do have Lunamon. Similar to Coronamon, it is start a main phase, but this one is return one of your Digimon to the owner's hand, gain 2 memory. And then it has the same effect, place top card of this Digimon to the bottom, and then gain 2 memory. This one, I mean...
This is probably worse than...
It's worse than Corona, yeah.
Yeah. It's more awkward to use. It's like good. It's just not very good.
I mean, like conceptually, it's supposed to combo with the Tamer because the Tamer plays out an extra body, and then you can like bounce and gain memory. Like I guess.
It's okay.
You also,
but like
you technically hold on. You technically can also move out Lunamon from the raising area and then bounce itself back for 2 memory, if you want.
Gross. Okay.
It's aight.
Yeah, it's like bottom of good. I'll accept bottom of good.
Bottom of good. All right, sure. Next we do have Lekismon. This is literally just Flaremon, or not Flaremon. Firemon. It's just Firemon, but opponent's turn plus 2000 DP, which I think into a lot of decks, opponent's turn DP plus is generally better. Right?
Unironically better.
Yeah, like I think this is just better than Fira.
Yeah.
Next, the actual most broken card in this entire set. By far, it's not even kind of funny. It's just actually disgusting. Garu X. Because for some reason, we decided to turn...
Lady Devi, that gained a memory.
Yeah, we turned Lady Devimon into a level 4 that gains a memory. When Digivolving, draw 2, trash 2. If you have Garu or X antibody in source, gain a memory. And it has battle protection, the same as Gabu X. Like, why? Like,
y'all ever heard of Graceful Charity?
Like, I don't...
It's literally Graceful Charity.
I didn't like put it on the thingy mabobber. Where is it? Let me see if I can like. Do I have the template? Let me see.
Were you so upset that you forgot to put this card?
I might have just like mentally blocked it out. I guess I just didn't download it. All right, hold up. Let me fix that because we got.
How much has this card terrorized you in the last few weeks of testing?
See, it's funny because I'm the one terrorizing everyone with it. You know. Like I am the menace to society. All right. That card is actually so disgusting. Like if any card makes me upset, it's that card. That card is gross. All right. Where's climb up, dog. Bark, bark, bark. Yeah. So this card, you'll be like, oh, but it costs 3 if you don't have Garu. But then you just casually remember the fact. That you're playing Gabu, so you just have access to so much memory and so much cycle for funsies. Like the odds you don't have it is like very slim. 2, you do have access to Protoform, which we'll talk about in a bit. Protoform reduces the cost of the evolution, so it becomes a 2-cost evolution. Wait. It gains a memory, so it's a 1-cost evolution.
In the worst case scenario, it's 3 costs, right?
Yeah.
For level 4, but in the worst case scenario, it's literally just Lady Devi.
Yeah.
On evolve effect.
Yeah. Like Garu X is such a broken card. Almost like it's found its way into so many different purple decks. Like every purple deck can just play Gabumon, Garu, bot end, and it's so strong. Like
yeah, if you protoform this, it costs 2.
It costs 1.
And then you
it costs 1.
No, yeah, I'm saying you protoform this, it costs 2, and then you gain 1 back, so it costs 1.
Yeah.
So if you have protoform, this is a 1 cost.
Yeah, like with freaking whatchamacallit. Okay, so you can play this in Bellstar, you can play it in Levia, you can play this in Anubis, you could literally any purple deck. This works. The card works.
Yeah, well, I mean, any deck that want to draw 3, discard 2
for fun
would like it.
Gain a memory for fun, you know. Whatever, disgusting. Antilamon on play, blah blah. Yeah. When attacking, trash the bottom of one of your opponent's sources, and then ESS when attacking, gain a memory.
That's dog weather.
Yeah, actually, not. This card sucks.
There's probably the worst sovereign. Maybe one. Is it the Wisp?
It might be. It might actually be. Cressemon. Onplay, when did you... so it's the same as Firemon, so it's a 1-cost Evo. And it has the ability to prevent your opponent from unsuspending. Or prevent them from suspending, period. This is just a generic, really good blue card. Like, it's just good. You could play this in non-Grace Nova decks, and, like, it's still a good card. It's a generic ESS. It has a stun. Like, I have no gripes. This is a good card.
The funniest thing about this card that it evolved from red and blue level 4 for 3, and then it still have the Night Fang condition for 3. I don't get it. I don't get why. This is so funny.
Actually, maybe it's I don't get that either.
Yeah, maybe it's future proofing. They might print Night Fang and
Light Fang and with like other colors and stuff like that. Yeah. Maybe. Okay, we have a Marimon. When you use an option card with a cost of 1 or more, gain a memory. This is actually good. This is actually a very good Sovereign. A very good Deva. I think Marimon is actually pretty because really good actually.
This is one of your best target to play in the raising area because you can then move out in the following turn, use the option.
Yeah.
For free.
And it's a 0-cost option. That's a consistency booster. Like, Marimon is just very good. Marimon. Yes.
God, this art is so disgusting.
It's such bad art. When you play a Digimon, trash the top source of one of your opponent's Digimon.
Dog water.
It's not great. Yeah. War Guru X, because for some reason every card in this line is broken. So it's a
calm down. I don't think this card in particular.
No, this one's not broken. This one's just really good. It's a 1-cost over War Garurumon, which they should have done in the first place with the other ones, but I digress. And when Digivolving, trash 2 cards from your hand, unsuspend this Digimon, that have War Garuru or X antibodies in the source. You may return 1 Digimon with Garu or X antibody from your trash to your hand. And then ESS, when attacking, if you have Garu or Omni in name, trash 1 card from your hand, unsuspend this Digimon.
So yeah, this card is really good. It's really good. Because so in non-Melga deck, it has the ability to grab you basically any X antibody card back. Yes. So this is such a good consistency booster because you can discard unnecessary piece. Like if you decide to play this engine in like another deck with like any card with X antibody, just grab them for some reason. So you can like just grab them back after discarding them.
Yeah.
Great for that purpose. In a Melga deck, this card is especially good because now any of your Melga that's stake on board is suddenly a threat. Like Melga X now swing and just unsuspend and bounce something on the same turn. The BT9 Melga X. Like the fact that you have you make the issue with Melga before is like all your low level is spending, right? And then you get to level 6 and you just kind of like sit there and you don't really do anything unless you have like an Omni. Like having a level 6 on board is no longer threatening, right? This is like no, I'm still a threat. Like
I'm still gonna swing twice, you know.
Yeah, like swing twice, probably do something on top of swinging twice.
Yeah, triggers unsuspend. Like it just. I think the crazier part about this is that because you have 2 new cards that give you battle protection, it's so safe to swing in Melga, and this is just another unsuspend. Like you swing War Garurumon twice, and then you evo into this, and that's 3 swings for funsies. Like why not? You know.
Yeah.
What a good card. The only thing that keeps this from being broken is that the fact that it costs 1. Thankfully.
And it costs 4 regularly.
Yes, like that keeps it from being broken. You could protoform into this for 0, but then that requires you to have a 2-piece combo. Whereas all the other ones, I mean, you just breathe and they give you value. Azulong Ace. So it has a Blast Evo condition. On play with Digivolving, return 1 of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon to their hand, then unsuspend 1 of your Digimon with Deva, 4 Great Dragon, or 4 Sovereign. On deletion, delete 1 of your opponent's Digimon with the highest level. This is pretty good. The bounce
is this the best one?
It's arguably Evan Wumon is better, but like it's this
the
one's,
bounce.
This one's
the Blast Evo on bouncing a level 5 is so strong.
Yeah, Evan Wumon stuns one though. Stuns a sling.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, this is one of the cards that make me really like. If I play Melga into this matchup, this is a card that really is really annoying.
Yeah,
because like I have to constantly be aware of this card bouncing my stack, so I can't push damage. I think it's probably
I think it's like high good, you know.
Yeah.
Next we do have Dianamon. Is a blocker, evolves over Night Fang Light Claw or Light Fang Night Claw for 4. When Digivolving and when attacking. Once returned, for each of the Digimon's sources, trash 1 source from your opponent. Trash 1 source from one of your opponent's Digimon. Then all of your opponent's Digimon with no sources cannot suspend until the end of your opponent's turn. All turns when a card is stripped, unsuspend this Digimon. This
I
is
think this card is actually very
this
good.
is a very, very good card. Like, it is a very good generic blue card.
It's seeing play in blue flare.
It does see play in blue flare. Sparingly. I tested it, and my issue with that was I had too many non-blue flare targets.
Yeah.
And it's not searchable either, so you really just have to raw dog into it. But other than that, it's a really good card. This Source Strip in general is seeing a lot of support over the course of time. Like the Zudomon Ace engine, for example, is really, really good. Fish gets support in BT15 as well. Like overall, Dynamon Source Strip it just keeps getting support. It's very good. The fact that this is both Wind Digivolving and Wind Attacking is great. It being blocker means it has synergy, funnily enough, with the Gekomon support. Because the Gekomon support strips on your opponent's turn, which then triggers Dynamon's Unsuspend. So, fun little fact.
Yeah, and the new form of stun is really funny.
Yes. It's so good.
Because,
it's so good.
Yeah, it's like because now it's screwed with deck like Bloom, right?
Yes.
Because you can't suspend them for effect at all.
Yeah, correct. So yeah, I think Dynamon is it's like if Crescimon is in the broken tier, Dynamon's in the broken tier, right? That card's just really good. Melga Ace, not Melga Ace, Melga X antibody. We had to get a new one. Like, well, why not? It's 4 cost, 1 cost over Melga, so like old Melga X. It's a blocker. When Digivolving, if Melga or X anti is in the source, all of your opponent's Digimon gains when attacking lose 4 memory, so it's just super ice wall. And when attacking, return 1 Digimon card from your trash to the bottom of your deck. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the same level as the returned card. I mean, okay, so if you're playing aggro OTK Melga, this card is like whatever. But if you're playing like a more control variant of Melga or tempo Melga, I think this is a very good card. This is especially very good in Bellstar variants of Melga, where you can use this to stall out turns to get to your Bellstar count.
Yeah, it's just very efficient, and it's a threat when it's on board because especially if you play purple Melga, the pop condition might seem arbitrary, but it's so easy to discard the correct card on swing.
Yeah, it's very easy.
There's really no way for your opponent to play around this deletion effect because you can always selectively discard that that piece from your hand to just pop whatever, and there's not once per turn, meaning that if this is on where X and your opponent doesn't remove it,
pop again.
Yeah, you can do 2 pop.
Yeah,
and it has blocker.
Yes, but overall, this card it lets Melga play a different style. It's not just like you're not shoehorned into aggro, which a lot of players feel like they are. I digress. I think Melga is already a very versatile deck, and now it's just an extra versatile deck. So Melga is definitely one of the decks to be afraid of going in a national format. This and Anubis, I think, should be on everyone's radar. Now we do have Leomon. On play, search your security stack. You may add 1 card with Leomon and its name among them to your hand. If you did, recover 1. It's a 1 cost over green yellow over Fremon 0. On deletion, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2k DP until the end of your opponent's turn. I mean, it's okay. It's a consistency booster for Leomon, I guess. Like I don't know. I don't know what you want from it. A better yellow rookie, however, Kudamon. On play, if there's 6 or less security in both players' security, you may play 1 yellow tamer from your hand without paying the cost, and then ESS when attacking, if there's 6 or fewer cards in both players' security, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000 DP for the turn. This is actually pretty good. It plays out your Samson for free in those yellow decks. It can play out TKs for free, whatever you really need. In the Kantora's Mitama style of deck, or even Mitama Venus, for example, it's very easy to burn your security quickly and get just like mad value. Like Blinding Ray is coming back as a insane card. To me,
it's like good, bottom of good.
Bottom, I think it's a little bit higher. I think it's better than these guys.
You think so?
I think so.
I think the 6 security can be kind of awkward, but
I think you get it fast enough, TBH.
I don't care enough to dispute.
Yeah, I don't care, whatever. Repamon. When attacking by trashing the top card of your security stack, the next time one of your Digimon would Digivolve this turn, reduce the cost by 2. ESS. When attacking, if you have 6 or fewer security card among both players, minus 2k DP on one of your opponent's Digimon. So this, really good. This combined with was it Kyako? Is it Kyako?
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? Kyakomon?
The level 5?
No. The Kyokyomon? No. Is that what it is?
Kyo? What are you talking about?
No, that's the Ridomon. What's the egg for Kuda? It's Kiaro. Man, I knew it started with a K. I knew it started with a fucking K.
Yeah, Kiara.
Kiaromon gives you jamming. Very easy condition for Kentorosmon style decks because you just burn your security for like whatever, right? So by attacking, you trash your security. This procs the jamming, so you can swing this out jamming and then reduce the next Evo by 2, so it becomes a 1-cost Evo into 5. Repamon is a really good card. This card helps you turbo very quickly into your top end.
Yeah, it's actually generic too.
Yeah, it is
like
generic.
the effect is very generic. So meaning you can, if you wish, you can run this card and the egg. Or you run this card and the egg to tempo into like, another engine.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay. Leomon. When attacking, so this is Leol or Elecmon for 2 cost. When attacking, the Digimon may Digivolve into a card with Leomon in its name from your hand. If you do, reduce the Evo cost by 1, and it's on deletion. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000 DP until the end of their turn. I mean, it's for Leomon decks. This is pretty good, right?
Yeah, I think it's like a really good card for Leomon deck. The issue is that it's in a Leomon.
Yeah, that's the issue, right? It's a good card in a bad deck. Next, we do have Chirinmon. When Digivolving, trash the top card of your security stack and suspend this Digimon. So it's combos with Repamon. And then when attacking, if there are 6 or fewer cards in both players' securities, you may place 1 yellow card from your hand to the top of your security stack. So you can use this to stack cards like for your Messenger of Hope setup. You can use this to stack a card like Chaos Degradation. There's a lot of versatility with the Chirinmon, and having the combo potential with the Repamon, I would say this is a really good card, frankly.
Yeah, I think it's better than Repa.
You think? I think Repa's better. I think Repa being more generic makes it better, but it's close. It's a good card. Next we do have Loader Leomon, so it's Indomitable, and Indomitable is a new keyword we did receive. When this Digimon is deleted while it has a Digivolution card, play it without paying the cost. On play, when Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. And then opponent's turn, while this Digimon has Leomon in its name, it gains Blocker. So this is trying to set up for a Bancho Leo Indomitable style of deck. It's a combo deck. Bancho Leomon is actually a really good card in this set, funnily enough, and so I'm really excited to talk about that because it reads really badly and it plays very well. But Loader Leomon as a card, it's okay. Like I think it's a good card.
Yeah, I agree. It's like it exists. It's fine.
Yeah. Mitamamon. This is a pretty good card. This is a pretty good card. When Digivolving and when attacking, by trashing the top card of your security stack, you may play 1 level 4 or lower yellow card from your hand without paying the cost. The Digimon played by this effect gains Rush for the entire turn, and then all turns, all of your yellow Digimon gain Barrier.
Can we talk about how correct this set is for an EX set?
Yes, this is a very good EX set, insanely good. An opponent's turn, all of your opponent's Digimon with level equal or more than the total cards in both players' security get minus security attack 2. So first of all, plays any level 4 lower yellow. So you can play a Floodgate, you can play Gatomon to a Evo 1 cost, you can play the Repamon. Like, it's just so versatile in what this can do. Mitamamon's actually kind of insane. 2, it gives Barrier to all of your yellow Digimon. And Barrier means that your opponent can't swing into your bodies very easily, because then you can just burn a security and prevent it from being deleted. So it's an aggressive option, it's a tempo option, it's a defensive option. And the security attack -2 being applied means that it's hard for your opponent to push for game. It works insanely well with Venusmon because you can go Mitama on first stack and then spit out a Gatomon Evo for 1, and then end turn on Venusmon, and you just lock out your opponent from the game. I don't know. Like, this card reads like broken to me, right? Like it's kind of just
you remember at one point, I think in one of the previous set, we were talking about how bad a barrier mechanic is.
Yeah. It turns out what it takes to make Barrier good is a card that just turbos everything out for funsies.
Yeah, I mean, I think Barrier's still not a good mechanic, but this guy abuses Barrier so well.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, next we do have Bancho Leomon, so it's like 4 cost over green or yellow. If over Leomon, it's a 3 cost. When you would play this Digimon from your hand, if there are 6 or fewer total cards in both players' security, reduce the cost by 5. On play, when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. All turns, once per turn, when a Digimon becomes suspended, you may give one of your opponent's Digimon minus 4,000 DP, and it gains security attack -1 until the end of your opponent's turn. And this card, you read it, and you kind of just like glance over it, but then you like test it, and like it actually feels amazing. Like, this card feels like phenomenal, high key. Being able to reduce its own play cost by via its own effect means it combos with Leopardmon exceptionally well, because Leopardmon reduces its cost by 4. With Leopardmon X full cost reduction effect, it's -7. So with Leopardmon X plus its own condition, you can play Bancho Leomon for 0. Without the full Leopardmon X combo, you reduce it by 4 plus the 5, so you can play the Bancho Leomon for 3, and that's still insane, right? So that's really good. It comes with a free suspend, on play and when digivolving, so you can evo into this, you can play it off a Leopardmon, whatever it may be. And then all turns, when you do tap something, you give the minus 4,000. So you can use this to disrupt your opponent's gameplay. You can use this to turn one of their secondary stacks into a wet noodle. It's such a good defensive card that I don't know. I've kind of just like fallen in love with playing this card.
Is one of green few ways to interact with something that come out of raising, right? Like they didn't have really that much way before outside playing something like Examon, right?
I mean, now we have Rosemon X, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean that's future. That's future.
Yeah.
But the fact that this prevent you from dying to something that coming out of security is really huge.
So the application I found the best, because this lasts until the end of your opponent's turn, right? So you get minus 4,000 DP on one of their stacks. If they swing out again, you can apply another minus 4,000 DP, and that's a minus 8,000 DP. And that's really, really great.
Yeah, it's a card that you play for cheap that force your opponent to remove it because it's really annoying.
Yes. So I would definitely say this is a broken card. Like I think among like broken cards, this is pretty like up there. TBH, it's very good. Next we do have Hawkman. On play, reveal top 3 cards of your deck. Add all Digimon with Indomitable to your hand, and then ESS all turns. While this Digimon is suspended, it gets plus 1,000 DP. The issue with Hawkman isn't that Hawkman is bad. It's that Indomitable doesn't have enough support to like justify it as a deck.
But that art though.
It exists. I think Hawkman is a good card, plagued with being in a bad deck. that is my takeaway. Maybe in the future it gets better once we get more Indomitables for it. But we didn't get any for BT15, so maybe BT16. Do you disagree with that?
It's fine.
Alright. Next we do have Aquilamon. It's just straight up Indomitable, and the DSS all turns while this Digimon is suspended, it gets plus 1,000 DP. In the concept of green, this is pretty nifty, because you can play out a stack for very cheap, like play out a rookie for free, and then evo into the Aquilamon, so that way it floats. It's just generically good. It has a really solid ESS. It has a lot of application. I think overall, Aquilamon is pretty good, but I think it falls into the same line of like Hawkman, where it's just not enough support to go with it. Because most generic green decks, you would rather play something like Kuwagamon promo or Togemon from BT14, really just stuff like that.
Yeah, the other issue is there's not too many generic green deck. Green deck fall into a lot of archetypes.
It's really just Leopardmon, right?
Yeah.
Next we do have Vajramon. And Vajramon is basically just Majiramon, so it gives you memory whenever you play an option, so it's really good. And then it gives piercing as well. So yeah. Vajramon is pretty up there. It does the same thing as Majiramon, but Majiramon gives you a memory when you swing out, and Vajramon gives you piercing. So depending on what you need, they both do different things. But yeah, Vajra and Majira are both very good.
Yeah.
Vikarlamon. When your Digimon deletes your opponent's Digimon by battle and survives, unsuspend this Digimon, and then it gets piercing. So you use this in combination with one of your bigger stacks, because then you can have them delete an opponent's Digimon and then unsuspend this, and it keeps swinging out. It swings for 7,000 DP, which is a relatively chunky amount. It's not like super chunky, but like it's an okay amount. This is probably the weakest green Deva, I would say. I think both Kumbira and Vajra are better than this, but it's not the worst. Like it's alright. Yeah, it's okay. It's very okay. It's probably like down here. Honestly, it might be mediocre, TBH. Yeah. It's okay. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and put it in good, but like it's okay. Next we did get Garudamon, Indomitable. On play, when digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon, and then all turns when this Digimon is suspended, plus 1,000 DP. I mean, it's okay. Like you get
is a card.
It's a card that exists. It kind of feels like pack filler until we get more Indomitable support, but it just feels like pack filler. Kubiramon. The standard Deva effect, all turns, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, draw 1, and it gets piercing. When your opponent decides to attack or swing or whatever, it's just a free way to cycle. Albeit it's conditional on your opponent suspending, so if it was like either players suspend a Digimon, that would be really good. But because it has that condition associated with it, I would just give it good. I wouldn't go too much further than that. Next, we do have Edwumon on play when Digivolving. For each of your Digimon with Deva or 4 Sovereign, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then all of your opponent's Digimon do not unsuspend during your opponent's next unsuspend phase. On deletion, delete one of your opponent's suspended Digimon. So this is the other Deva I think is like in the running for being better than Azulong, specifically because it prevents your opponents from unsuspending. So into a lot of decks, you kind of just stop them outright. And it works on multiple stacks. So like if they have 2 stacks out and they swing out and then you blast Evo into this, then you also tap out their other stack and it stops 2 stacks, whereas Azulong stops like 1 really. And it also still deletes a Digimon. So I would
just put it next to Azulong and call it a day.
Next, we did get Marukimon, Indomitable on play when Digivolving. Reveal top card of your deck. If it is a 5 or lower Digimon with Indomitable, play without paying cost. Add the rest to your hand. Your turn, all your Digimon with Indomitable and no sources gain Rush. I mean,
I think this is a really good card.
It's a really good card without support.
Yeah. One more wave of Indomitable, and this might be like a real deck.
Yeah. Leopardmon X. Evo for 4 or 1 cost over Leopardmon. When Digivolving and main, you may play 1 green card from your hand where 1 card from your hand, and then if you play it by this effect, reduce the play cost by 4. If you have Leopard or X antibody in its source, reduce it by a further 3, so a 7 cost reduction. Your turn, once per turn, when you play Digimon, you may return one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP or less to the hand. For each of your other Digimon, add 3,000 to the maximum DP of the Digimon you may choose with this effect. So Leopardmon X is a very good card. It's a great form of removal in green, and the fact that you may bounce something, meaning that you can hold off on the proc, so you can play something off the Leopardmon X effect, which then, if that target also spawns another body in of itself, and then you can trigger the Leopardmon X effect. Really, it's just a lot of great application. Like I actually really like this card. I think it's.
I kind of wish it wasn't specific to green Digimon, because this can evolve over any leopard. So there potentially could be something cool that you've done with the old leopard deck, right? Like you play blue stuff for free.
Oh no, this. Oh, you mean by effect? Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. If it wasn't limited to green, it'd be a cooler card. But overall, it's a solid card.
Yeah, for sure. Next we do have Lekmon on play. Reveal top 5 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Leomon among them to your hand. And then on deletion, Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. It's cool, I guess. It searches. It does its job.
It is a good searcher.
Yeah, it's a good searcher. Chumon on play. If it's your opponent's turn, reveal top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 Digimon with Sukamon in its name among them without paying cost. Trash the rest. On deletion, if this Digimon has Sukamon or Edamon in its name, you may play 1 Chumon from your trash suspended without paying the cost. This is a very good card for Edamon. This is actually a very good card because it can play out any Sukamon, including King Sukamon. So you can King Sukamon your opponent on mid-turn, and it also floats. So overall, this is actually a very good card. It's probably like down here, but like I digress. Targetmon. Blocker on deletion. Trash by trashing 1 card with Sukamon or Edamon from your hand. Return this card to your hand. All turns when this Digimon would be deleted. By deleting one of your other Digimon with Sukamon in its name, prevent the deletion. I hate this card.
Go off, buddy.
I think this card really is really mid. Like you want to play a Wana because it counts as both a Suka and Edamon, and like it loops itself back. But like it's a 3-cost Evo. It's super weak. There's so many other Sukamons that you have that have the same ESS. Like I don't like this card. I strongly dislike Targetmon. So D for Dogwater. Next, Leomon. When attacking, Digimon may digivolve into a card with Leomon in its name from your hand. When it would be digivolved by this effect, reduce the cost by 1. On deletion, you digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. So this effectively lets you just turbo up. And your Leomons, they have Indomitable, they have on deletion. So, I mean, for the deck, it's pretty damn good, right? Like I'd be pressed to say it's even very good, TBH, or really good, right?
Yeah.
Next, we do have Edamon. Edamon is 3 cost over Sukamon, or 4 cost over Black or Yellow. On play, when Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP, and starting your main phase, this Digimon attacks until the end of your opponent's turn. ESS, opponent's turn. When an opponent's Digimon attacks, you may reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 yellow or black Digimon with a play cost of 3 or lower among them without paying cost. Trash the rest. This is a very good card. This is actually an exceptionally good card. the fact that it's on play and when digivolving means it's very like generic in what it can do. At the minus 3000 DP, makes it so you can target a level 6 deck and make it into 9000 and swing out, and then you have Metal Edamon, who's effectively a blocker, and forcing them to attack means that they're playing into your BT14 Edamon, and BT14 Edamon spits out a level 6 for funsies. The ESS is also really good because it plays out all your Sukamon targets, plays out all your Chumon targets. This is just a really good card. I actually really, really like this card. It's so good. Like, fucking good job, Bandai. You made really great Sukamon support.
What do you think of this deck as a whole?
Like, mid to high tier 2 overall. I think the biggest weakness of the deck is the inability to close out games very quickly. It's very much like a grind deck, in the purest sense, but it falls into the same issues that Black normally does, where it's like, depending on what matchup you pair into, you need very specific cards, and sometimes you just don't have those specific cards to deal with, those decks. So, like, when you play into blue, you need to sing King Edamon, but King Edamon is really terrible into purple because it doesn't do anything, and then, yeah. But overall, it's a very good deck. Next, we do have Grapple Leomon, so Indomitable. On play, when Digivolving, return one of your opponent's Digimon 4000 DP or less at the bottom of their deck. Your turn, when this Digimon has Leomon in its name, it gains Piercing. So the whole idea is that you're supposed to go Leomon, Evo into Grapple Leomon, Combat, Swing, Die, Float, De-Digivolve by 2, so they go out on a level 3, Float into Grapple Leomon, and then Bot Deck. That's the idea. That's the concept. It's a good concept. I don't have much else to say. It's a good concept. Yeah. Next we do have Senduramon, and it gives Blocker. Is that really it? Oh, it has Decoy. It has Decoy. It has Decoy.
Yep.
Okay. I was like, there's no fucking, there's no way that's all it is. Yeah, it protects your Devas. It's, for what it is, yeah, it serves its purpose well. Katuramon is in of itself a blocker, so you can use that to protect your other Devas, but like, you're just gonna blast Evo, so it's kind of whatever. Makuramon, your opponent's Tamers with the cost of 2 or less cannot suspend, so this hits cards like Purple Meanie. It hits
Cool Boy.
Cool Boy, yeah, that's kind of nuts.
Analog.
Yep. All right, Makuramon, you're pretty good. You're pretty good. Baihumon. Opponent's turn, when your security card is checked, if it's a Digimon with Deva, you may play it for free. On deletion, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the highest play cost. So this helps you spit out, this helps you cheat out Devas. Unlike the others, it doesn't help control the board, which is kind of why it's in that like weird middle ground area. But like the fact that it helps turbo out the Fanglong play overall is pretty solid, I would say. It's probably there.
It's a Blast Evo that's RNG. I think it's the worst of the Deva.
Yeah. Oh, you think it's worse than Zuchao?
I think it's worse than Zuchao.
I think it's better than Zuchao. I think Zuchao's I think Zuchao's pretty bad, yeah.
Well, okay, what does this card do for you when you evolve it? It doesn't even do anything when you evolve it.
Yeah, but ideally, you don't want to evolve. You wouldn't want to evolve into Zuchao either. Swing 3? Like, your Wukong's Fanglong, you know?
What?
Either way, look, they can be together. It really doesn't matter. They're both like whatever.
I think they're both mid.
Next we do have Metal Edamon. So on play when Digivolving. This is 3 cost Evo, by the way. Over Edamon or Suka. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers with a play cost of 3 or less. For each card with Edamon or Sukamon in your trash, add 1 to the cost you may choose. Opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon attacks, by placing 1 card with Edamon or Sukamon from your hand to the top of your security stack, you may change the target of the attack to this Digimon or the player. This is a really good card. I'd actually go as far as to say this card is like broken. You know, like I actually think this is a very, very good card. Like it's pretty up there for me. And why I say that is because number one, in the context of the Sukamon deck, everything in the Sukamon deck sends to trash. You don't bot deck your stuff. You trash your stuff. So it's very easy to quickly ramp up what you can pop with this effect. Being on play is very relevant because that means you have synergy with BT14 Edamon, because BT14 Edamon plays out an Edamon for free from your hand, so you're playing this out. During your opponent's turn, you can pop something on their turn. Having pseudo blocker is really great because in combination with EX5 Edamon, that means they're swinging out a 9k if they're 12k, and then you can just slap them prior to them like resolving any of their wind to developing effects and whatnot. You can also just forcibly redirect it into your security to force the BT14 Edamon because you're stacking on top with this effect. So you just grab the Edamon, stack it, and then you force them to swing. Like, oh my god, you hit a BT14 Edamon. Well, here comes a Metal Edamon. But yeah, this card is really good in combination with the EX5 Edamon and with the BT14 Edamon. I have really no complaints about this card. It's kind of just insane. It's super annoying if you aren't playing a deck that has access to like bounce or bot decking. That is my stance on this.
Yeah, this is some monkey business.
It is actually so good. Heavy Leomon, Indomitable, when Digivolving, on deletion, Digivolve 1 of your opponent's Digimon, then return one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less to the bottom of the deck. End of attack once per turn, return one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 DP or less at the bottom. If this effect didn't return, unsuspend the Digimon. This card, I feel like overall is like solid. I don't think it's like stellar or anything, but I think it's very solid. In combination with the Elecmon and the Leomon, when the Indomitable procs, you're Digivolving 3. You're Digivolving 3 basically, which then puts anything into the heavy Leomon range, if you will. But when you come back from the Indomitable, you don't have Rush, so you can't reuse the end of you can't use the end of attack ability, and you're not getting the bot deck either because that's both when Digivolving. Yeah. Actually, no, that's a lie. You do get the bot deck because you just resolve this on deletion last. So you Elecmon on deletion, Leomon on deletion, and then Heavy Leomon on deletion. So generally you'll get it off. But you don't get the Rush unless you're running Marukimon engine. And yeah.
Overall, how do you feel about this deck as a whole? This is the last card of the Leomon, I believe.
I would say that it's a very interesting aggro deck that has a lot of floating potential, but I think a lot of the concerns I have with this deck comes from the fact that it's a 2-swing deck, so it's without security attack plus, so like that you're swinging for 2 chip, and then you're hoping that they don't have that clapback play. Another concern of mine that I do have is that if you play into anything with bounce or anything like not just bounce, but like bounce, bot deck, ruin mode, I feel like can also be a bit of an issue because the ruin mode, they can your lower Indomitable level stuff will just get swatted immediately when they come back. I think I don't know. Like, I feel like this deck is just missing one more wave of support to really push it into like that high like competitive territory.
Bottom tier 2.
Like bottom of tier 2, yeah, I would say. I think overall this is a good card. This is a really good card, I would say. Next we do have Hawkman. On play, for each of your opponent's Digimon, draw 1, then trash 1 card in your hand. All turns, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is played by an effect, gain 1 memory. You've had more experience with this deck than I have. What do you think?
Okay, so this deck is really interesting. Typically, this will net you some draws, and overall, like the game memory effect is nice.
Yeah.
It's just fit the engine really well. I think it's like a good card. Not very good, just good.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Just throw it up there, whatever.
Yeah.
Next we do have Labramon. On play, by trashing 1 card in your hand, you may return one Digimon with Dark Animal or Shaman from your trash in your hand. ESS, your turn. Once per turn, when you play a Digimon with Bind effect, gain 1 memory. I mean, there's not a lot to say about this card. It's just really good. Like, it's a great consistency booster in grabbing back your pieces that have been trashed. It's generically a good ESS. Like, I don't have a lot to say about this. You'll find that a lot. Oh, what's up?
I think it's really good also. I think this card, especially for inexperienced poker player, you should try to play this card.
Yeah.
Because it will salvage your poor decision.
Yes.
This card decision. Because there's actually these decks in particular have a lot of discard decision, and some of them have multiple turn consequences.
Yes.
So this will salvage a bad discard that you did like a couple turns previously. So.
Yeah, similar to like calling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next we do have Octomon. On play, when Digivolving. If there are 4 more Digimon in total, play 1 Fujitsumon. And then on deletion, that token, trash 1 card in your hand. Tokens in your battle area suspended without paying the cost. And then if there are 3 or less Digimon, played in your opponent's battle area instead. And then ESS, all turns, when an opponent's Digimon is played by an effect, gain a memory. So it's trying to help play into the Leviamon win con, which is if your opponent has more cards on their side of the board, you chomp it. You chomp extra.
I think this is really good.
Yeah.
The reason I think this is really good, the Fujitsumon you play does not have a level.
Correct.
And that's excellent because you can never accidentally pop it with Levia.
Yep.
So meaning that your Levia target is always something valid.
Yes.
So this card is great.
I would definitely agree with that. I think the ESS is pretty stellar, TBH.
Yeah, I mean it's just standard for
it just works. It just works really well with the deck. I don't have any complaints. Doberex on play, one of your Digimon gains retaliation. Just one of your Digimon, mind that, it's very important. And when Digivolving, draw 1, then trash 1 card in your hand. If you have Dober or X antibody in the source, activate the on play. ESS, when you play Digimon, by an effect, gain a memory. This is really good. This is a very good card.
Yeah, it's really good. One of the it's a really generic because you really don't care about the second half of the when evolving effect.
We don't care about that. No.
Yeah, but the fact that this is an extra cycle, and then on top of giving anything retaliation on play, just make this card really good.
Yeah.
And the ESS is also very generic.
Yeah. Being able to give anything retaliation means you can turn your Anubismon, which is like your top end, into a retaliation target, and then with Marimon against blocker. The draw 1, discard 1 is just additional cycle. When combined with BT6 Sunamon, it's a draw 2, discard 1, which is really, really good. It has an ESS that gains you memory. Like it just does everything you need. Dragomon, on play, when Digivolving. Your opponent plays 1 level 4 or lower Digimon from their trash, suspended without paying the cost. Any on play is not activated. All turns, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is played by an effect, you may play 1 purple Digimon with a level less than or equal to that Digimon from your trash without paying the cost. Has piercing. Again, this is a pretty good card. It forces your opponent to play into your Leviathan WinCon. It helps you grab back your own purple Digimon. Your purple Digimon will trigger their on play, so you can trigger Octomon, Siakomon. It's just a well-designed card for the engine. Combined with Leviathan, when they play something else suspended, mind you, Leviathan can swing into it and then deal 2. Do you think this is really good? And do you have any other thoughts?
I think it's good. Okay. I don't think it's because the condition is relying on your opponent trash, so that's the only reason it's not in the really good territory for me. Like, the reason Octo is so good is because it's always life.
Yeah.
Octo just always, like, seeing Octo is so important to activating your game plan. Where this card is, like, it's good to see it, but it's not always necessary because sometimes your opponent just don't have, especially when you play into certain decks, they just don't have that piece in trash for you to target. Okay. So, yeah.
Next, we do have Serb X. So this is 3 cost over purple level 4, or 0 cost over Serb in name. On play, you may play 1 level 3 purple Digimon from your trash without paying cost. When Digivolving, draw 1, trash 1. If you have Serb or X antibody and source, activate the on play effect. And ESS, when attacking once per turn, delete one of your other Digimon to unsuspend this Digimon. This is overall a very good card.
Unironically, I think it's better than Wargurumon.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this is better than Wargurumon. The on play, I mean, like, hard playing it, like, it's whatever. But the fact that you draw 1, discard 1, and then can trigger it very easily using a other Serb, or you can use a Protoform or an X antibody, is very great because you're setting up your fodder for the Cerberus X antibody. ESS proc very easily. You can use that to revive Floodgates to really disrupt your opponent. You can use that to revive Promo Labyrinth to pop Floodgates on the opponent's side of the board. It's just a very versatile card. I think the thing that keeps this from being broken is probably the fact that it requires a second piece to go with it. If it was a standalone card that didn't require anything else, I would say it's broken. But that condition, it comes up, right?
Yeah. The other thing we've noticed is not a lot of people in Japan is playing the Cerberus engine.
Zero people in Japan play the Cerberus engine.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
I thought I saw a few, but I guess wait.
They all strictly play 4 blue Marimon, 3 to 4 Lady Devimon from EX1, and then like 1 or 2 Chimeras. But if someone in Japan, I just remembered, one person did play Serb in Japan, but they didn't play the accompanying Serb. They played 4 blue Mara with it.
Yeah, I was saying the build that you probably might end up seeing pop up with this card in it is blue Mara plus Serb, so the actual on-play effect is never going to be live.
Yeah.
But it's an extra cycle, and also I think the ESS is actually really strong in the deck.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah. When I played the build without the blue Mara Lady Debbie build, when I play it, I found myself missing this effect a lot because there's a lot of opportunity where having that ESS just give you ability to threaten lethal.
Yeah. All right, and then we do have Anubismon. So this is the supposed BDIF, right? This is big bad dog. When Digivolving and main, once per turn, you may trash up to 3 cards in your hand. Then you may play 1 purple Digimon from your trash for the cost. When played by the effect, reduce the play cost by 3 for every card you trash, and for the up to 3, you may reduce it by another 1. So it's -6 overall. Your turn, not once per turn. When your Digimon is played by an effect, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. If no Digimon was deleted, draw 1.
I think this is better than Gabu X. It might actually be second best card in the
I think
set.
this is the second best card in the set. It's not better than Garu X because Garu X is actually the most absurd bullshit I've read in like a long time. But this is actually such an insane card because this it plays Merva from BT11 for 1 cost, who spawns an extra 2 bodies, and then those have Rush. So you play Saber Dramon that has Brave Retail, so you can pop the 6 that you couldn't pop with the Anubis.
Wait. It's 2 costs. It's 2 costs. Because Mova is 8, and this reduced by 6, so it's 2 costs. So you do need.
But then the Ignite triggers, so it's 1 cost. Why are we underselling this? Like,
but you also need the Ignite. If we're gonna say that, come on.
Okay, sure. If you don't have the Ignite Mon, it's 2 cost.
But anyway, this card is very, very
good.
No.
You need the Ignite or Merva anyway because you need a Digicross for it to be 2 costs in the first place.
Oh, that's true. I forgot. Okay,
so it's basically 1 cost. Done.
Yeah.
It's basically 1 cost. But the fact that you can play Merva for 1 is so crazy. Like, it's actually so insane. And they all get Rush because of Merva. They get Blocker because of Merva.
Is that this card's fault or Merva's fault?
What do you mean?
Which card is the problem card in the set?
Definitely Merva. Definitely Merva. For sure, Merva.
If you're gonna hit a card in Anubis, in case Anubis becomes a problem,
Merva. 100% Merva.
Do you think Anubis is deserving of any hit at all as the card itself?
Wait, like, what do you mean? Like, we hit Anubis?
Yeah, like it's the card.
I think if you take away the Merva and you take away the Merva part of Anubis, I think the deck's actually fine. I think it's strong still. I just don't. I think it's like bullshit, Like I'm not staring down 4 bodies for 1 cost.
That's fair. Yeah. You cheat out a level 5 for free essentially though, and then you can evolve over. Yeah. I mean, I guess.
But that's fine though, right? That's 3 bodies, right? But that's 3 bodies.
No, because if you use this to play Cerberus and you evolve Cerberus.
No. That's 3 bodies. Or if you have Cerberus, and you go into
you go Cerberus with an extra body, and you go to a second Anubis that's still 4 bodies.
But that's also a lot more pieces in the works. But they don't have Rush.
Yeah,
and you're also passing turn on that.
Okay, so you're hitting Merva, right? So 100% hitting
Absolutely hit Merva, dude. That card is gross. Crossheart with Merva Rush was, like, disgusting. Like, super obnoxious. This is like... dude, Merva's a problem. Merva's a problem.
Okay, so do you want to tell the audience why we rated Garu X so highly? Because they're looking at this card, and this card is, like, best formatting.
Guys, so the thing about Garu X, you have to like, understand. It's like... Garu X is a cycle 3 on level 4, first of all. So it's absolutely insane late game, it's insane early game, it's insane mid game. It gains a memory for funsies. So if you have, for example, if you have the starter deck, Gabumon, from the new Matte starter deck, it's a +1 memory into the Garu X to gain another memory. So you're effectively starting your turn at 3 memory. Which is kind of insane if you think about that, right? Cool Boy works too well with this. You can it fits into every single purple deck. You can play Garu X and shove it into every single purple deck, and it works. It works way too well. It's kind of gross.
Yeah, I think the reason we rate Garu so highly is that the card existence boosts purple as a color as a whole, because the color have never gotten so. I mean, it's always been like pretty good at cycling, but the Garu engine just put the consistency level of every purple deck to like another tier.
Yes.
Like you're seeing Garu engine Belphemon. You're seeing Garu engine
Bellstar, Leviathan.
Yeah, Garu engine.
I've seen Garu engine Beelzemon actually.
Yeah, because it activates Beelzemon.
Yeah, like it's just it's so annoying. It's such a gross card. But yeah, Anubismon, you spawn the Marimon for 1, you make all these bodies, it's really good. The fact that you can pop 5s super easily, and it's not once per turn. So for the spawn on Merva, you either pop 1 or draw 1, and then for the Merva spawn, you pop 1 or draw 1. And then with all your ESSs that gain you back memory when you discard or play a Digimon by effect, you're basically just playing it for super cheap. It's gross. This deck is gross. Broken. Next we do have Leviamon. Leviamon is security attack +1 on play and when digivolving. If your opponent has equal or more Digimon and Tamers than you, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the highest level and then delete their lowest level. And then all turns when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, gain 1 memory for each Digimon deleted. Card is really great, right?
Yeah, I think this card is like really good. I think it's better than Mega X. What do you think?
I agree. TBH, if TBH like reflecting on this now, this probably gets bumped down.
Yeah,
and
I think I was looking at it. I think we're a little too generous with some of these.
Yeah, I think these like definitely get bumped down a little bit. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, because like you putting too much stuff in the broken tier of the top big card.
We bring it out. We bring it back. Broken is like exclusively for the cards that like I want to slam my head into a wall because of their existence. You know.
Yeah.
And yeah, Leviamon is a really good card. I think this card is very good. The fact that it punishes your opponent super heavily for playing so greedy, because like, envy. It swings for 2, which is really great pressure. It works during both players' turns to get memory.
Let's talk about the option. Let's talk about Rostrum, because we can't. It's really hard to talk about this card without talking about Rostrum, right?
So, Biting Crush, aka Rostrum, 8 cost. By trashing 1 card in your hand, delete one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon. If you discarded a 7-grade Demon Lord, store this in your battle area. All turns, when an opponent's Digimon is played by an effect, delay, play Leviamon for free. So this is like the big anti-purple setup, because you basically, all you do is you play the Biting Crush, you pop one of their stuff, and you discard Leviamon, and you play this for free. And if they ever trigger a purple effect, because that's just purple in a nutshell, the Leviamon comes up out of the water, and it goes chomp, and it kills like their entire board. And you gain 2 memory.
If Anubis ever become a menace at your local, you can be the hero and just play a Lavia focus deck, and with Lavia you can literally against Anubis you can slam Rush, you can slam Biting Crush turn 1, and they can't do anything.
Okay.
If they attempt to Anubis in any way, you just like goodbye. It's gone.
Yeah, because you pop the Anubis and you pop the Merva, and it's just like, oh, there it goes, chomp. I will say the one issue I have with Biting Crush, and like let me like move this a little bit. My one issue with Biting Crush, I would say, is into certain matchups it just doesn't do anything outside of being like a pop. And
yeah, of course, it's very specific hate.
Yeah, and for the format specifically, it's very good because like purple is the best color in the format. So Biting Crush happens to be very good in that format. But like the moment we swap off a purple format, Biting Crush loses a lot of potency. And like you can vanilla play this for 8, I guess, to like set up your delay. But like even then, like you're passing over a lot. And yeah, so like I said, just into certain matchups, it just feels really bad.
It's a very well designed card.
It's a good card. It's a well designed card that doesn't make me want to like blow my brains out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ko and Sayo, it's a memory tamer. Tap this tamer, plays top card of your Digimon with Light Fang or Nightclaw at the bottom. If you do, Digivolve into a Digimon card from your hand without paying cost. It's a good card for the deck. It helps you accelerate really well. Like I don't know. I don't have a lot of gripes with it. It's good.
I kind of wish this card wasn't for the memory tamer.
Yeah.
Because that's the card where you want multiple of it on board. And the other one is the one that I really
want one of it. You want one of this.
Yeah. So I feel like if the memory tamer was swapped, I would have been way more happy with the effect.
When an effect places the top card of your Digimon to the bottom of the source, tap the tamer, gain a memory, and then this sets up your joggers because it spits out the 6 and then you joggers immediately into the Grace Nova. Not being able to cheat this out feels really bad. I get you have to play it because that's how you get Grace Nova out, but like not being able to cheat it out feels so bad.
Yeah, if you swap their cost, the deck actually gets a lot better.
I would agree. Phoebeus Blow. 6 cost, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. Then you have Tamer. Return 1 Digimon with Light Fang, Nightclaw, or Galaxy from trash to hand. It's kind of mediocre. It's pretty mediocre. It's whatever. The better option, however, Goodnight Moon, 5 cost. One of your opponent's Digimon and Tamer cannot suspend until the end of their turn, and you play out Tamer for free.
Yeah, this card's actually good.
This is actually a good card. This is unironically a good card.
Yeah.
Flashy Boss Punch, 8 cost. While you have a Digimon with Leo or Boncho in its name, you play this without meeting color requirements. Main effect: suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 12,000 DP for the turn. Then one of your Digimon with Leo or Boncho in its name may attack. And then security effect: suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 12k DP. This is actually a pretty good card. The fact that you could split the suspend and the minus 12k means that you could tap one of their Digimon, pop another one, and then have your Bancho swing into the suspended Digimon. That triggers Bancho effect to apply the minus 4,000 as well. If you have this during your opponent's turn, you hit this in security, you tap their shit, and then minus 12, and then the Bancho will also apply another minus 4,000. So you can snipe up to 16,000 on your opponent's turn, or you can use this in combination by splitting it apart, so that it's a minus 12, minus 4. This is overall just a very good card. Big fan. This is like an alternative to Heaven's Judgment for like Leomon decks. So yeah. I vibe with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Now we do have Protoform. 0. We had to get a new X antibody, and we just had to. 0 cost. While you have a Digimon, you may play this without meeting color requirements. Security effect added to hand. Main effect: one of your Digimon without X antibody and its sources may digivolve into a card with the X antibody trait, with the cost reduced by 1. If you do, place it at the bottom. All turns, when this Digimon would leave the battle area other than by your effect, from this card's source, return 1 Digimon to your hand, and then heal this card.
I think this card is broken.
This card is broken. This card is definitely broken. Like,
guys, like, so we talk about how good the OX antibody is, right? All the time, because it's 0 cost, and then they went and made like, oh no, this is actually minus 1 cost. Yeah. Because this is a 0 cost, like also give you a memory. So
it's a less aggressive X anti, right?
But the majority of the cases, you're not in most decks that you would want to play the X antibody. The unattacked evolve is not that impactful because like a lot of times, like outside of like end of turn shenanigans, like that's the only time where it really matters. But this reduced cost by 1 anyway, so it kind of solved that problem.
I think one of the crazier things is the fact that it adds back a piece to your hand and it heals itself. Yeah, like that's so absurd.
That is so powerful because you can use this is such a strong tempo card because now playing any X antibody deck, you get that you can add a heal to any deck that playing X antibody, so you have that extra layer of healing. Yeah. You have the reduced cost, and then you also have the consistency boost because when now you lose a stack, you're like, okay, let me just grab my 5 or 4 or whatever back. And then I'll just have that piece for my follow-up stack. Yeah. It's just such a good card I would say in like 80 to 90% of the situation where you want to use the other X antibody, this is better.
I think okay, so I like this is better in Garu, or arguably. They're both good. They're both good. They both serve different purposes in Garu. This is better in Anubis. This is probably better in a lot of bug decks, or just like Herc X, I guess, if you want to do that, or like Rosemon X, for example, decks. I think this is probably worse in Greymon because you value evoing in like mid combat like heavily. Yeah. But just like in general, this is a very good card. They both have their own.
I guess Alpha would.
This in Alpha is pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty good in Alpha. And then Loyalty Deeper Than the Sea. It's 1 cost. Reveal top 3. Add one of them to your hand. And then add the other one to your source, and then send the rest to top or bottom. I mean, it's really good. It's your consistency booster for the deck, right? It just it does everything you need like a 1 cost consistency booster to do.
You need it to play the deck.
Yeah, you need 4 of this. We talked about Ultimate Formation already. It's a wee bit slow. Yeah,
it's kind of mediocre in my opinion.
It serves its purpose, but it's really slow about it. Yeah. And then finally the payout for your Dawn and Dusk. A Grace Novamon. So Apollo Diana costs for 0 Jogrest. It's security attack +1 blocker when Digivolving when attacking if you Jogrest. Trash any 8 cards from your opponent's Digimon. And then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with equal or fewer sources to this Digimon. And then all turn, if this Digimon will leave the battle area by your opponent's effect, trash 2 cards at the same level in this card's source, prevent it from leaving play. This card, I feel very mixed about it.
I think it's good. It's not very good. The issue I have with it is that it has blocker. Why does it have blocker instead of redirect? Because this card does not have reboot. Mm-hmm. So if you want, like, the effect it has conflict with itself. Yes. Because there's no way for this card to gain an effect like reboot, right? So like, if you swing for 2 security, you lose the blocker. So like, what's the point of having both the effect?
You're
And you
supposed to choose.
Yeah, it's really, it's kind of like not that strong of a payoff. Like I like the when digivolving, but that's much more relevant several set ago when everything has protection.
Right.
Like now it's just a pop. That's neat. It's a pop, but like it's just a pop. I guess it kind of you kind of dunk on Greymon.
Yeah.
Because they don't have protection anymore against you. But like this would be like a super relevant deck. Maybe like if we're talking way back in BT11.
Yeah.
But now it just kind of feel too slow for this. Like this payoff is too slow.
Yeah.
Because you get to this and you don't win the game. Like you get to this and you don't win the game.
Mm-hmm. I agree. The whole like it contradicts itself because like you swing out then you don't have blocker. That's just so awkward, dude.
Yeah, it's such an awkward card, and the support itself is like really good. The payoffs is not that great, and the deck is still kind of cumbersome.
I think, man,
because
if it had a way to cheat out Tamer and it got like one turn faster, I think it would be really good.
I think the other big issue with the deck that needs to be addressed is that the deck is actually two color.
Yes.
So you cannot consistently play
booster training.
Any booster training.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the real big issue, because one of the main thing that I like about the Omnimon deck in from EX4.
They're black.
They're mono black,
yeah,
right?
Mono black.
So they're mostly mono black, and so you can actually play training and boost to grab the cards you need. And not only this deck has consistency issue, is missing cards, and then it's restrictive in the sense that you can't even play other cards to help it become less restrictive. Like what kind of search? What search do you play? You play the analog? Like analog is like the only search you can play that realistically grab your pieces, right?
All right.
Yeah, so it's just awkward.
But overall, this is a very good EX set. Like this is actually there's a lot of really relevant cards. Overall, it feels very strong. The fact that we actually got two arguably BDIF decks from this set, I think says a lot. Because EX4, we didn't get we didn't get BDIF.
This is the most relevant EX
This
set,
is the most
right?
competitive EX set we've had, yeah.
Yeah, EX1 really only had Ice Wall.
Yeah.
EX2 was
BLs eventually, but that's really it.
No, not BLs. Whatchamacallit? The Reaper. The Reaper was the most relevant deck.
BLs eventually, right? Like eventually that support became relevant, but like at the time it didn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, impactful on release. D Reaper had a big effect on the meta, so that was one thing.
But it also didn't perform like very well in the grand scheme of things, surprisingly.
EX3 had Exa, which did okay.
Yeah, Exa did okay. Machine Dramon didn't see results until we got Analog in BT11.
Yeah.
So this is probably the most impactful EX set, yeah.
Yeah, Dobikman was okay.
EX4, you had Blue Flare. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Yeah, but like it's like usually it's like unintentional, not a deck that they decided.
They decided to push, right?
Yeah, like the EX4 deck that Shine stuff got support and that eventually got good, but most of the actual cards in the set itself didn't really do anything.
None of it was like runner for BDIF, right?
Like Rumo has a big impact on the meta, but as a singular card and not as a deck.
Yeah.
So I think this and I think this is the first EX set under the new design team, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, so I think the old design team philosophy was just keep EX set really weak and on the side and just like kind of not be that relevant. And after seeing this set, I think that's probably not going to be true any longer. I think the design is supposed to be very consistent between set.
Hold on. That being said, why did they print Garu X?
I mean,
that one just seems like they threw the ball and they just
they printed Patamon.
They printed Patamon. They printed Garu X. They printed Apocalypse. They have so many great hits, but damn, do they have some misses.
But nothing kills you. They haven't had anything that just kills you straight up.
Oh, I don't know. That Apocalypse kind of feels sometimes this is a brick wall, man.
It doesn't come out 22. That's all I'm saying.
All right, whatever. Anyway,
we have not had any set near. I think okay. And this is like overarching as a whole. Right? We're talking about like design, right?
We haven't had a BT9.
Yeah, I think BT14 15 and EX5 as general set was like better than BT9 to BT11 to BT12. Actually, I think BT9 to BT12, while each set are generally like other than BT9, the other three set are like fine, but I feel like every set present like a really problematic thing to deal with.
Yeah.
Where I feel like these set, and I may be wrong, and maybe Anubis can blow up in all our faces, you know, and maybe a Puck will be like the terror of the meta. But currently, nothing seem as problematic as those older sets.
No, I agree.
Like we don't have a BL's X coming out and just making everyone life miserable, right?
I absolutely agree. Yeah, the older sets are definitely way more problematic.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so that is the EX5 set review. Thank you all so much for if you managed to stick this far to the end. Thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. If you want to test EX5, discuss EX5, or BT15, right? Because that's out now. Be sure to stop by the Hoang Zero Discord, which is in the description down below. You have anything you want to say before we close it out?
Nope, that's it.
All right.
Garu X did nothing wrong.
All right. Well, shut up. All right. Goodbye, everyone. Peace.